Hey everybody, welcome back to 1776 or Bust. So tonight I'm going to do a quick review or unveiling or unboxing, whatever you want to call this, on a brand new gun that I just picked up today, and I'm really excited to share with you guys. I'm so excited because I really think that this gun right here in front of you is it's going to be a game changer, guys. I think that this gun here poses a real threat against gun companies that are unwilling to necessarily change who they are, the type of firearms they make, and just some other features that I think need to really be improved to make them more modern firearms. So to start off with, let's find out what gun this is, if you didn't notice already. This is a new CANIK. It's a TP9SF Elite. It's brand new, just came out. This is the holster that came with it. I won't use this at all, really. I'm not a big fan of these Serpa type holsters, but the gun has a tungsten Cerakote finish on it. Really nice, guys. It might appear brighter in the camera, but it's almost like a charcoal gray, but it is really nice. As you can see, you also have your trigger safety here. Very similar to many of the modern polymer striker fired pistols on the market today. You also have ambidextrous features. You have the ambidextrous slide locks on both sides. You also have the ability to switch over this mag release to the other side, which then makes it for a left-handed shooter as well. So a lot of awesome features on this gun, and then what's even better is it's at a really good price point, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Again, everything is steel. You got your steel takedown levers, the steel slide locks, even the mag release is made out of steel or some sort of metal. So I mean, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool. In regards to the sights, comes with Warren tactical sights. You've got your red fiber optic pipe in the front here, as you can see, and you also have in the back, wrong way, you have your blackened out rear, which is actually pretty nice. I actually like and prefer these types of sights, getting used to shooting with them, and I do like them quite a bit because it's a very easy pickup on that front sight. You know, is this going to be the best for like a match gun or a target? Maybe not. Target shooting, I mean, probably not, but for self-defense, it works perfectly. It's easy acquisition, and I like the idea of that. In regards to some of the other features of the gun, let's start with what I think everybody's talking about, at least the reviews that I've seen. Let's talk about the trigger. You know, initially I was going to bring out the PPQ and compare it, but I'll save that for later. I just want to talk about this gun tonight because I am very impressed with this firearm. In regards to the gun, the trigger on this thing is just amazing. By the way, the gun is safety checked. There's no magazines, no bullets, nothing. But the trigger on this thing is really smooth, guys. Probably one of the best on the market today. Now, I know a lot of times I talk about the PPQ as being the best and being, you know, a phenomenal trigger. And listen, I still believe it. I still think it is the best. I've made mention that the 320 is probably the second best. I'm going to correct myself and say that this CANIK TP9SF Elite is the second best striker fired pistol trigger on the market. It is smooth, it is light, it breaks just normally and perfectly. I mean, there's nothing to complain about with this trigger, so I'll show you. You know, the ability of this trigger to just stack up right there. It's not much movement, but look at the way this trigger just breaks. Let me see if I can get that. I mean, it's light, guys, very light. The reset is also phenomenal. There's the reset. Again, a light follow-up pull. Is it as light as the PPQ? Interestingly enough, it's different. It's not necessarily lighter, but it's a different trigger. The PPQ, I think, is a little bit smoother. This one has a little bit more resistance on the trigger, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. You know, it's kind of interesting because if I was going to say what did I think this trigger was most like, I would say definitely it's a kind of a combination between the PPQ and almost a Glock-like trigger, just with the resistance on the trigger itself. But it's a lot lighter than a Glock and a heck of a lot nicer than a Glock. Although my 19 is really good as well, but this one is just better. In regards to just everything that I've seen so far with this pistol looks like this gun here is going to really knock some people off their pedestals, and I think it needs to. I know there's some controversy about the CANIK name brand and where it comes from. You know, I'm not going to get into that. It's not a political channel. This is a gun channel. You know, that can be discussed in your own time. But I mean, overall, you know, the benefits of a pistol like this, I mean, people need to start waking up in the manufacturing world, because here you have a gun at $429 that has things added to it that should drive up the cost. First of all, you're getting upgraded sights, you're getting a phenomenal trigger. And one other thing I did want to mention about this trigger is that it's really more flat than it is curved. I mean, there is a slight curve, but if you notice, once you remove the trigger safety, let me see if I can get that in position there. Once you move that trigger safety, guys, that trigger is pretty darn straight. There's not a lot of curve in there, which means that when you pull that trigger, you're gonna have more of the ability to pull that trigger straight back. So even that aspect makes me say that this gun is very, very low priced for what it offers you. I mean, a gun like this, if it said H&K on the side or SIG or Walther, this is going to be at least $200 more than what I bought it for. It's just a phenomenal price for a phenomenal gun at this point. Now, the takedown is kind of unique and interesting. You don't have to rack the slide back, don't have to pull the trigger, don't have to push it forward. The only thing you have to do is take the takedown levers, pull them down, and the gun pops forward a little bit. All you need to do is push a little bit forward and it unlatches itself, and that's it. It's super easy to do, no issues with firing it if you're nervous about that. Another point of interest in this gun is the steel guide rod. I mean, again, for $429, they even put a steel guide rod in here. And, you know, what else can you say? I know there's debate of whether or not it makes a difference. Some people believe it, some people don't, but let's be honest, you know, I paid about $100 more for my Glock that came with a polymer, you know, polymer all over the place. You know, the recoil spring is a good recoil spring, but when you look at something like this, the thing is solid steel. When I look at my Walther, I paid almost $200 more. The Walther still has its polymer guide rod because I don't feel like spending 40 bucks on a guide rod. However, this comes with steel, so that doesn't need to be adjusted at all. Again, you have a match grade barrel. So again, your barrel should be very, very easy to shoot out of. It should be very accurate. Everything is nicely polished inside the barrel, and even the feed ramp, as you can see, nice and polished as well. So it's a good quality, you know, hammer forged type of barrel. You know, really just, I mean, great stuff, great quality, guys. Inside the slide itself, you can see the interior. You can see the Cerakote job. Put that a little, oops, sorry. Put that a little bit closer so you can see that. But, you know, look at the Cerakote is amazing on this, and it's not smooth, it's not silky, it's not slippery, it's got like a texture to it. So it's almost like a sandpaper texture, but not as aggressive or rough as sandpaper. On the inside, you can see very simplistic, nothing really to make a whole video on. I mean, it's your standard interior of a gun, nothing different. One of the best features of the Cerakoting is just how precise they did the Cerakote job. I mean, there's no overspraying, there's no rough edges, there's nothing. I mean, even in here, you see there's a little factory crap in there, but that'll be cleaned out this week. But everything looks really nice. I mean, even when I compared it to my SIG 320 and my Walther that is Cerakoted, this is 10 times better. I mean, it's just 10 times better for about 200 bucks less. So right now, this gun looks like a huge win for CANIK. And if you're in the market for a striker-fired polymer gun with a great trigger, a lot of good features, you definitely want to check this gun out. Again, I haven't shot it yet. I will be shooting it this weekend, get a feel for it, you know, feel the recoil, the trigger, and just to see how precise it is. But, you know, so far this gun looks like it's going to be a total win for CANIK. And I hate to say this, guys, because I know there's a lot of Glock fans out there, and I'm one of them. You know, Glock better wake up pretty soon, guys, because eventually what's going to happen, you're going to see a lot of these competitors in the market that are going to basically just pass by Glock. Now, I know, of course, people are going to say, oh, that's never going to happen. Glock's got a track record. You're right, but, you know, at some point, people are going to start to switch out and say, you know what, I'm going to give this gun a try. Let me see what it can offer me. Again, the interior, very, very simple. No issues with that. You have some steel inserts here into the polymer. I did look at this compared to the PPQ, and the steel on this is actually a little bit thicker than the PPQ. Other than that, the internals are almost identical to the PPQ. One last thing that I'll talk about is really just the grip. Actually, I'll just show you how to do this. You can see that you have the steel insert there. What you do is you basically line up the slide over it, and then you rack the slide back, and it goes back into its place, and the gun's back into action, back for business. And you can see right there, beautiful trigger. Man, just a beautiful trigger. Comes with two back straps. I used the number 1 back strap. Number 2 is a little bit too chunky in the back, so I said, all right, let me just stick with the number 1. And in regards to the grip itself, it's shorter than the Glock 19, yeah, smaller than the Glock 19, shorter than the PPQ, and shorter than the 320. Not by much, you know, very small difference, but still makes it highly concealable. Plus you have a longer slide and barrel than on any of those 3 guns that I mentioned previously. So, you know, you may have added accuracy because of that. You know, guys, this is a great gun. You know, I'm really happy to have it. I'm really excited to have it. I can't wait to shoot it and see what it can do. I would definitely check this gun out. If you're looking for a good gun that's very affordable with a lot of good features to it, this might be the winner for you. One last thing I'll mention about the grip is just the grip itself. It's very ergonomic. You know, very similar to, it's almost as, and I thought about it from this standpoint, and I mean, this might be a little inappropriate, but it's almost as if the grip is a combination of Glock, CZ, and Walther. It's like they had a threesome and made a baby, and this is what you got. And I have to say, the grip is phenomenal. The stippling is great on the back. You know, it's aggressive, but not overly aggressive. And even the stippling on the side is pretty aggressive. And it does definitely bite into your hand, which I like that quite a bit. You know, grip angle, I would say the thing that I have or own the most for grip angle on this one is definitely going to be the P07, surprisingly enough. It's kind of got that angle, and just the texturing around it is very reminiscent to the CZ P07. But everything about this gun right now just seems phenomenal. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you, and again, I apologize if the video ran long, but it is a new gun, and in my opinion, this gun deserves some talking about, because it is, in my opinion, going to charge the market very quickly. One of the things that I had an issue with, because it came with 2 15-round mags that are getting pinned, I was very curious, because when I was watching Such's video, I saw a magazine that looked very similar to this one being used, and it was for this gun. However, this is my Walther PPQ magazine, my M2, and I want to show you guys something. Whoa, look at that, it fits. And not only does it fit, but the magazine release works, no issues with that. I don't have to slam it in or anything like that. It fits almost perfectly. It spits the mags right out. And I had actually tested it where I had a couple of rounds in, and I was just racking the slide just to throw the rounds out to eject them to see if it would feed correctly, and it fed correctly. There were no issues. Again, I didn't shoot the gun, but I want you to see this. Normally, this will be a good test of whether or not the magazine will work. And as you can see, it locks back on the last round, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know if this is going to work. It may not be the smartest thing to do, you know, to necessarily shoot this with this magazine, but I might give it a try. I might actually try it out and see, and say, what the hell? Hopefully I don't blow my fingers off, but I'm going to give it a try and see. So I hope you guys like this review of what I think is going to be a great firearm on the market. Again, guys, you can't beat it, man. $429 for this gun. And just so you know, the close competition to it, in my opinion, is going to be this Walther. This thing cost me almost 200 bucks more than this gun. I'm not saying that this is a bad gun, because it's really just a phenomenal pistol, but boy, this thing is really close, guys. And I think you should take a look at it, and if you're in the market, buy one. In my opinion, you got nothing to lose with this. So I hope you guys are having a great night. Be safe out there, and as always, freedom is never free.